This is quite old. Could this be one of the ring balls? The Lega brothers and their team have uncovered the greatest secret of Oak Island, a small island near Nova Scotia that has captivated treasure hunters and history buffs for more than 200 years. They started their journey with a small amount of gold in the island's water, and, motivated by the prospect of discovering more clues, they continued to research the island's history and ground until they finally uncovered the secrets of the island's hidden treasure. The Lagena brothers and their team set out on a treasure hunt on Oak Island, a so-called flood tunnel booby trap system. Of course, we're going to investigate a mysterious island known for its pirate gold and hidden passageways. They found an old handmade ladder, a hidden underwater tunnel, and odd markings and carvings that appear to hint at long-forgotten secrets. The team faced eerie tales about the island, such as a curse that required someone to die before the treasure could be found. But they were adamant about continuing their search and learning the truth behind the mysteries and stories. The discovery of gold and wood from deep underground gave them concrete evidence that there might be treasure on the island, which led them to find more intriguing items like old coins and carved stones that gave them new clues about life on the island. Tell me the direction you wish to take. A major breakthrough occurred when they tested wood found deep underground, which revealed more traces of gold. This discovery gave the team a boost of confidence and helped them see that they were on the right track. Despite the difficulties, the team's determination and hope kept them going even when things seemed hopeless. The first discovery of gold traces in the water rekindled their hope and led them to search every inch of the island, from sandy beaches to the deepest underground areas. The lengthy and intricate process of Oak Island secrets included both historical exploration and scientific testing. Though the island had revealed many secrets, some remained hidden, so the Lega brothers and their team kind of were cautious about what they dumped in there, which challenged the team to keep going and dig deeper. They believed that there might be more treasure waiting to be found, so they dug deeper in search of clues and held on to the promise of discovering secrets that had been buried for hundreds of years. Oak Island Secrets was a painstaking procedure that combined historical research and scientific testing. They employed a variety of techniques, including geological studies and soil analysis, to find hints about the island's past and possible hidden treasures. The discovery of metal traces in the soil, which verified the presence of genuine treasures, was one of the most thrilling moments. A significant turning point for the crew was the discovery of gold mixed with wood fragments, which provided concrete evidence that their hypotheses regarding the island might be true. Despite obstacles like equipment malfunctions and physical risks, they had a solid basis to carry on their exploration thanks to scientific testing that helped dispel concerns and lend credibility to their claims. I'll descend and you can follow me there. Please let me know if you have any questions. Rick, good luck. The Lagena brothers' mission to solve the mystery of Oak Island was made possible by their collaboration with specialists from a variety of disciplines, including historians, archaeologists, and metal experts. They stayed focused and determined because they believed they were getting closer to a significant breakthrough, and their optimism grew stronger with each discovery, strengthening their resolve to overcome all obstacles and work together. They were able to approach the exploration from a variety of angles because to their cooperation, which deepened their grasp of the island's past. Historians were essential in unearthing historical documents and maps that offered hints that clarified the island's past. Archaeologists thoroughly examined artifacts and excavation sites to find proof of previous habitations on Oak Island. Metal specialists examined the metal artifacts they discovered using cutting-edge techniques, offering insights into the technologies employed by those who abandoned them. Good morning, Rick. How are you this morning? It's good to see you all. How deep is the team's collaboration? It resulted in new tactics and methods that enabled them to advance and find solutions to issues that had baffled treasure seekers for millennia. The finding of the flood tunnels at Smith's Cove supported several hypotheses and demonstrated the intricate engineering work done on Oak Island. Numerous stone carvings of letters, numerals, and symbols can be found on a mysterious island. Both historians and treasure seekers have expressed interest in these engravings, but it is still unclear what they exactly imply. Some scholars think these carvings might be signs that early settlers or explorers came to the island, while others think the earliest residents left them as riddles or messages. The difficulty presented by scholars is increased by the carving's resistance to straightforward responses, which some claim were left by treasure hunters to indicate specific sites or conceal hidden treasure locations. While some experts think they may have had ceremonial functions, others think they may have been ancient markers used to indicate locations of significance or directions. According to some scholars, treasure hunters created them more recently. The early 20th century saw another intriguing discovery when treasure seekers built a coffer dam near Smith's Cove. The barrier was designed to keep water out so that workmen could excavate in submerged areas, but the wooden platforms and structures discovered beneath the water indicate significant engineering efforts on the island. Some experts question if they were intended to conceal or safeguard something important, while others think they were a part of past treasure hunts. Over the years, researchers have found many historical documents, maps, journals, and records written by early explorers and treasure hunters on Oak Island, a hidden treasure island. These documents provide important hints about the island's past and tell stories of daring engineering projects, setbacks, and minor victories. However, some documents are incomplete or contain contradicting information, which raises various theories and questions. Another exciting discovery was a hidden underwater tunnel with odd carvings and symbols on its walls. These markings seem to be clues about Oak Island's past, and every new discovery made them even more eager to keep going. One of the most exciting finds, so what we're doing here is trying to determine the boundaries of the paved area, was an ancient ladder that served as a direct link to people who had visited the island centuries ago. A significant turning point was reached when the team discovered gold particles in wood samples taken from deep holes they dug in the ground. This discovery transformed the island's legends into a real hunt for something valuable, and the team's trust in one another and shared goal gave them the strength to face every new challenge as they continued their quest to discover what was hidden beneath Oak Island. As they went, they discovered more exciting discoveries like pottery shards and historical artifacts, which gave the team hope and motivation. Despite the lengthy and exhausting search, the Lagena brothers and their team have been working non-stop to unravel the mysteries of Oak Island. Their optimism and teamwork, which is what's amazing, have been a driving force in their pursuit as they have gathered substantial evidence that supports their theories about the island's past. They have also conducted various scientific tests, such as examining rocks and soil to learn more about the island's hidden history. And they have discovered traces of gold in wood samples, which has been a significant discovery that has altered their strategy for the search. Their faith in the island's rich past has been strengthened, and they have been given new life after the discovery of shining metals like copper and gold in the soil. The team's commitment to learning about the island's history has been crucial to their quest, as they have found historic buildings and artifacts that offer important hints about the island's past and potential events. The team's perseverance in uncovering Oak Island's secret stories has sustained them despite the many obstacles they have faced throughout investigation and excavation. Collaborating with specialists worldwide, such as historians. In order to better comprehend the island's past, archaeologists and metallurgists have been essential. Historians have examined historical maps, archives, and documents to trace the island's history back hundreds of years. Archaeologists have analyzed old objects and dig sites, providing new insights into the lives of people who might have lived on Oak. Metallurgists have used advanced techniques to study the samples found on the island. Learning about their makeup and origin, each new discovery pushes the team further, fueling their determination to continue exploring and uncovering the full story of Oak Island. Their combined efforts have led to new paths and answers, making them more confident in their pursuit of finding answers about the island. The recent discovery of flood tunnels at Smith's Cove at Oak Island. I mean, if this is a tunnel, it's an aha moment. Yeah, look, a tunnel here on the Ball Foundation has sparked interest in its history of exploration. Some believe they were built by the original creators of the Money Pit to protect their treasure, while others believe they were made later by treasure hunters trying to beat their rivals. These tunnels show impressive engineering and complex efforts to find treasure on the island. Stone. Inscriptions including symbols, letters, and numbers have caught the attention of researchers and treasure hunters. Some believe these symbols are codes or signs from the first people who lived on the island, while others suggest they were made by visitors or treasure hunters to leave a mark on the island. These findings demonstrate the ingenuity and resourcefulness of those who attempted to address the Oak Island issue, reminding us that the search for solutions is still ongoing. The cofferdam at Smith's Cove was constructed in the early 20th century to regulate water flow and make it easier to reach areas too flooded.
Featuring the garnet pendant, was a game-changer that kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Lagena and Gary Drayton made the decision to revisit the location where they had previously unearthed a decorative keyhole. Unbeknownst to them at the time, their return journey would undoubtedly unearth an even more valuable artifact. The investigation commenced with the discovery of a military button from the 17th century, which bore resemblance to the button they encountered in episode 2 of season 2. However, the situation became truly thrilling when they unearthed a brooch and what at first appeared to be a multifaceted ruby. In the season 5 finale, the stakes were abruptly elevated to an entirely new level when the possibility of discovering a precious gemstone on Oak Island kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Incredible discoveries. Gary Drayton had this jewelry examined by a gemologist, and the revelation was nothing short of astounding. What they had mistaken for a ruby was, in fact, a hand-cut rally garnet set in silver. What was even more astounding was that the estimated date of this gem was the 1500s or 1600s. This semi-precious gemstone was not only a valuable discovery, but the most valuable treasure the Lagena team possessed. Following that, which was previously unearthed, the gold-plated brooch was featured in Season 6, specifically in the premiere episode. The discovery in Rick's Big Bang Theory was a genuine game-changer, and it filled the audience with anticipation. Gary Drayton and Rick Lagena are on Oak Island near the residence of Daniel McGinnis, one of the earliest treasure hunters from the 1700s. Using his dependable metal detector, Gary Drayton receives a promising signal. As their anticipation grows, they begin digging, and lo and behold, a jeweled brooch. This was their second such find, following a garnet brooch they discovered in the previous season. Seeing red, the excitement continued in the 6th episode of the following. According to Lutheran Brain, the brooch's threaded technique estimated its age to be no later than the 14th century, notwithstanding the glass gem. It was a remarkable jewelry item with a lengthy and enigmatic past. However, the real revelation came when Dr. Krista Bro and Dr. Xiang Yang, employing an electron microscope, identified a gold component within the brooch. This revelation was a genuine epiphany, whereas the gem itself may have been a little bit disappointing. The brooch that was encircling it was discovered to be an authentic treasure of Oak Island artifact. Next on the list is the hand-painted pottery featured in episode 14 of season 8, titled Fire in the Hole. This particular discovery captivated viewers intently as it offered a glimpse into the enigmatic workings of Oak Island. To provide a brief synopsis, archaeologists Miriam Amiro and Dr. Aaron Taylor embark on an expedition to decipher the parameters of a stone pathway that potentially holds the key to unlocking the island's secrets. As their investigation progresses, they fortuitously encounter a remarkable handcrafted artifact. Upon further inspection, they discover pottery fragments adorned with vibrantly colored designs, painted by hand in red, blue, and green hues. These exquisite fragments provide insight into a long history of human activity on Oak Island, a mysterious location shrouded in mystery for centuries. What makes the discovery of these colorful pottery pieces along the stone pathway that the team is laboriously attempting to investigate even more intriguing is that they were not found as isolated finds. Rather, they were discovered while following a breadcrumb trail of hints. Lastly, gold was unearthed in episode 2 of season 9, titled The Gold Medal of the Curse of Oak Island. This find captivated Oak Island enthusiasts. The Oak Island team laboriously sorts through the spoils unearthed from tedious holes in the money pit area. It's a laborious process, but they eventually come across a piece of metal that could be precisely what they've been seeking all these years. They transport this metal specimen to an archaeology laboratory. The most intriguing aspect of this metal fragment, which is composed of numerous elements, is that approximately 0.07% of it registers as Au, the chemical symbol for gold. This is a game changer. Gold has been a long-standing enigma surrounding Oak Island. Presently, archaeologists are discovering indications of this precious metal in the very soil they've been excavating. However, the intrigue does not cease there. Just 2 episodes later, in episode 4 of season 9, they make another metallic discovery. This time, it is only a stone's throw from where they discovered the first trace of gold. The results of their rigorous examination of this new source of metal are even more astounding. It contains 0.2% gold, a significantly higher percentage than the previous find. This revelation represents a major breakthrough, as trace amounts of gold are now confirmed on Oak Island. From traces of gold to ancient coins and a possible connection to the Knights Templar, these were some of the most shocking moments of Oak Island Brothers. With each discovery, we were reminded that this treasure hunt is far from over, and the mysteries of Oak Island remain as enthralling as ever, including the area's possible link to a money pit. I had a good sense about this lot, especially since there are so many flags to pursue. Are you prepared to get your teeth stuck in? Then we should proceed. A significant ship find alters everything. The Curse of Oak Island's 8th season centers on the discovery of a significant ship that could change the course of the inquiry completely. The gang discovers a polished piece of wood that resembles a handrail, which prompts them to surmise that it was once a section of a ship's railing that was attached to the surrounding stone road. This finding adds to the body of data that suggests the wetland once served as an open seaport. However, a large object is impeding their efforts and keeping them from going any further. The gang remains unwavering in their resolve to explore the marsh and learn what lies beneath its surface despite this obstacle. Despite the fact that a significant ship finding has completely changed everything. One of the objects that the crew discovers is a polished piece of wood that resembles a railing. They believe it to be a fragment of a ship's railing, and that it is attached to the surrounding stone path. This would provide as another evidence that the marsh formerly served as an open harbor. They encounter a large item, though, which prohibits them from exploring further and learning more. They won't stop looking until they find what's hidden there, since the group is certain that the swamp holds the knowledge they require. During the 8th season of The Curse of Oak Island, a significant shipwreck is discovered and made public. The group finds a significant relic that has the power to change the direction their search will take, which throws everything into confusion. The find raises questions about the ship's history and purpose, while also giving the members new causes for optimism and excitement. The group is more motivated than ever to carry out their inquiry and uncover new clues that could ultimately unveil the secrets of Oak Island, as the mystery grows more baffling. A number of shipping logs were found by the brothers, providing proof that an armada of French soldiers reached Oak Island in 1746. The Duc d'Anville expedition, which was sent from France with the goal of retaking Louisbourg, may have been the source of the artifacts. One of the most thrilling metal detector discoveries on the show happened in the 1st season. Steve Zazulik discovered a copper coin of the Spanish 8 denomination. The object was probably moved there at some point in the 17th century. During the 2nd season of The Curse of Oak Island, metal detecting helped uncover more old coins. Gary Drayton found 2 Britannia.
For decades, Oak Island has been a mystery, with traditions claiming that Vikings visited it before Columbus and that it was the Knights' hidden treasure. For more than 2 centuries, people have been excavating, drilling, and diving on Oak Island to discover what lies beneath. One of the largest mysteries is borehole 10X in the symbols that were used to formulate the cipher. However, new evidence suggests that the Romans may have also been there. Templar pirates and even the Romans buried gold deep underground. Over the years, pieces of equipment have been lost, rocks, dirt, and debris have collapsed into the shaft, making it difficult for anyone to descend. Macacair's Marks is a deep, dangerous, water-filled shaft that has been the focus of treasure hunters for decades. Dan Blankenship, one of Oak Island's most committed searchers, believes that this borehole could lead to whatever was buried deep underground. Borehole 10. X is not an easy dig. It begins with a 181-foot vertical drop through a reinforced steel and concrete shaft narrowed into a 44-ton long tunnel that is only 27 inches wide and submerged in murky water with no visibility. The crew on the surface would use an underwater communication system to keep in touch with Harvey Marash and Michael Gartz as they explored 10X. Michael would act as a safety diver while Harvey descended. How long has he been in now? 30 minutes? I'm thinking if this goes too long, then I'm going to start worrying. However, things started to fall apart when Michael's communication system failed, leaving them 100 feet underwater in total darkness with no voice or signal. The team on the surface had no idea if Michael was safe, and they attempted to call his name, but were unsuccessful. Amid the chaos and impending disaster at Borley 10X, The team had no way of knowing if Michael was stuck or running out of air. They tried tapping on the pipe to send signals, but were unsuccessful. Because of the risky decompression stops, the squad was unable to shoot straight up, which made them anxious. Harvey made it quite far down when a light appeared beneath the water's surface, and everyone exhaled in relief. However, he was unable to see anything inside the small tunnel and had to feel his way around the walls to try to determine what was down there. Possibly ancient wooden structures, broken rocks, and other random objects. But the fabled treasure chamber remained a mystery. Harvey attempted to maneuver around the drill bar, a huge 20-ton metal bar that had inadvertently fallen into 10X decades ago. But the tunnel was too small and his movement was constrained. He had to twist and push himself backwards, scraping against the rough walls, and his breathing became more difficult every second. Eventually, they were able to escape and begin climbing again, but the entire ordeal made it abundantly evident that 10X would not readily divulge its secrets because they knew they had to change things up because the shaft was unpredictable and dangerous. They knew pulleys were frequently used in intricate mechanisms, so they weren't going to let one setback stop them from exploring Oak Island's many mysteries. In another area, they discovered something odd, beginning with a common rusted metal piece buried in the dirt. After more dirt was removed, it became evident that it was a well-made pulley. Disappointed, they said, "You just burned something out in here, you got fire in here." We do know that pirates operated, but whether the Roman sword the Oak Island crew found in Maun Bay off the coast of Oak Island in the 1940s is what we believe it to be. Its originality rests on how it got here. A local family who had been illegally scalloping in the area for decades discovered the sword. When Charles Barkhouse brought the artifact to the team, they found that it was a weapon made of brass or bronze with a distinctive hilt that carved the image of Hercules, a motif frequently found in ancient Roman military decorations. The finding of this Roman artifact in North America is unprecedented in mainstream history. The Roman Empire expanded across Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, but never crossed the Atlantic. Some speculated that this was evidence that the Romans had crossed the ocean centuries before Columbus or Norse explorers, while others were more dubious, claiming that even if the sword was genuine, it could have been brought here later by European collectors or through trade routes that carried artifacts much farther. To be sure, the team brought the sword to St. Mary's University in Halifax so that archaeologists and metalwork experts could examine it for miles. McClam observed that the sword resembled ceremonial weapons used by gladiators and high-ranking Roman officers. The hilt featured a figure thought to be Hercules, which was in line with Roman symbolism, and the sword itself had the proper shape, size, and balance for a piece that was nearly 2,000 years old. However, the most crucial test was still to come. Scientists conducted a chemical analysis, which I believe we all have a very basic understanding of as it relates to Oak Island, which revealed that some elements did match Roman metallurgy, such as copper, tin, lead, and arsenic, all of which were consistent with ancient Roman bronze. However, the cast did not fit known Roman techniques, indicating a later time period, possibly medieval or early modern. According to some scholars, the sword may have been made in the 18th or 19th century, using Roman motifs as inspiration, or it may have even been purposefully positioned there to heighten the island's mystery. Over the years, Oak Island, a well-liked location for treasure hunters, has seen a number of disputes and discoveries. One of these was the discovery of a Roman sword that had a high zinc content, which was unusual for ancient Roman bronze. This led to the conclusion that it's really strange, but I like it, I love it, and it's pretty cool. The idea that Romans had lived on the island was significantly undermined when it was discovered that the sword was made of modern brass rather than ancient bronze. Nevertheless, not everyone was persuaded. Some pointed out that some ancient mines contain naturally occurring zinc, which could have contaminated Roman bronze naturally. Others countered that the presence of zinc didn't necessarily mean the sword was fake, and that more testing was necessary, contrasting the sword with other comparable European swords. The discovery that very identical swords at museums in Italy and Spain had already been identified as copies created in the 1800s sparked additional discussions on whether the sword was an authentic piece or a contemporary fake. The sword's unusual discovery location and metal composition led some experts to conclude that it was a contemporary imitation, while others thought it still had the potential to be an authentic, ancient item. Since it is not the only Roman relic discovered in the area throughout the years, the discovery of the Roman sword has caused one of the largest disputes in the island's history. With several finds that imply the Romans never stepped foot close to North America, Oak Island has been taunting history buffs and treasure seekers. For instance, the tiny, pointed projectiles discovered there that resemble Roman-style crossbow bolts match the bolts employed by the Roman legions. Some contend that they arrived via trade routes much later in history, possibly during the era of European exploration. Another intriguing find is the well-known lead cross found at Smith's Cove, which is still up for debate. Some scholars think it is connected to the Knights Templar, a shadowy order that allegedly crossed the Atlantic to conceal their riches, while others think it may be even older, possibly dating back to the Roman era. Oak Island is a small island in North America that has seen a number of archaeological finds and discussions. When the lead composition of the cross was determined to have originated in southern France, which was once a part of Roman territory, it may indicate that an ancient expedition arrived at Oak Island centuries before anybody else. The etched 90T stone, which was found deep under the money pit and has symbols that no one has been able to decipher over the years, is another intriguing discovery. Researchers have attempted to decipher the code, and some people think the symbols seem like Roman or Phoenician Eros letters. Another major controversy began when a Roman coin was purportedly discovered close to Oak Island, but no one knew exactly where it came from. If genuine, it could indicate that Roman merchants somehow ended up in this area, but coins are difficult to transport, get lost, and are passed down for centuries. Some researchers believe that the strange stone roads and platforms discovered beneath Smith's Cove are not natural formations, but rather were purposefully built by someone. They may resemble ancient European engineering possibly connected to Roman aqueducts or roads. Although the mystery shipwreck near Man Bay has not yet been thoroughly investigated, sonar scans indicate that it may be very old. Some researchers think it may have been built as early as the 1400s, predating Columbus, while others think it may be much older and connected to medieval or ancient seafaring practices. Strange discoveries on Oak Island, like wooden platforms and underground tunnels, point to intentional building. Many of these items and structures predate documented colonial history, which makes it problematic for skeptics to claim that many of these discoveries might be explained by later European explorers or early settlers. The possibility that the Romans may have been here is still up for contention, but the sheer amount of unexplained artifacts and constructions suggests someone was here long before the official time frame permits. The oldest Templar commandery or location, I believe, is in Portugal. Wow, but something unusual happened on Oak Island a long time ago. Whether it was explorers searching for wealth or the history of an unidentified society leaving its mark,